to discuss both of the applicants, and we are now going to move ahead. Do we have any motions here?
I apologize ahead of time if I butcher names. So I would like to make a motion to nominate Brian Krecklau, did I say that right, as our new village board or trustee for the village board.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion of bringing Brian Krecklau onto the Board of Trustees, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Brian, are you prepared to take the seat this evening?
Take the oath?
Yes.
Okay,
And then you have to take an oath.
Do you need a minute to call someone at home and let them know you'll be late?
okay. Because trust me, that's a sticker shock.
By the way, the other candidate would have been great.
Yes.
Our
Yeah.
neighbor, so-
We agree.
We had two very outstanding candidates.
Yes.
Very outstanding.
I, Brian Krecklau,
I, Brian Krecklau,
having been elected or appointed to the office of village trustee,
having been elected or appointed to village trustee,
office of
office of village trustee,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of said office to the best of my ability.
of said office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
Looking forward.
Megan, thank you very much. It was a very difficult decision on which one we go to, and there are always other opportunities to serve the village, which we may be reaching out to you to talk to you about. Sure. Thank you. Great, thank you.
And we're going to continue on. Item 5 on our agenda. If we can stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you by chance have an agenda for Brian to?
All right. Tammy, can you tell us if this meeting has been properly posted, and if so, how?
The agenda was posted in the upper and lower levels of the Amundsen Community Center, Cambridge Post Office, Badger Bank, and the village website.
Okay. All right. Going to move on to item 7, public comment. Are there any individuals that would like to speak at this time? If you could please come up, sit at this table here, Kathy. Introduce give us your name and your address here.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Jurgis. My address is 618 Woodhaven Court, and I'm here tonight to represent the Collaborative 523 Incorporated. We are a new nonprofit in town focused on economic and community development. Our focus is not on the big projects. We're going to leave that to the village to determine, but we want to help bring together the businesses, the landowners, the nonprofit organizations, and the citizens of Cambridge to use the resources we have here to the best of our ability and to make things happen in town. So I have attended a number of Economic Development Committee meetings. I've had conversations with Mark, and I was asked to come tonight to just share an update on one of our projects, which might lead into a couple of projects. We are working with Charles Fiesel to, we have secured a lease for the remainder of the year for 149 West Main Street, which is the former Prescott building, which we will be putting in a holiday boutique pop-up. So it's a 2-month trial to bring in vendors from outside of Cambridge or within Cambridge under a holiday atmosphere. to utilize that space to the best of our abilities to bring some more life and activity to Main Street. It's going to be on a trial basis just to see what information we can glean from this to maybe use that building for other purposes going forward. So it's just a trial experiment. Our committee is also working on, we've had some input into the room tax, which economic development will be working through the village plan with. We are working on a community mural committee project so that we can understand the ordinances and the requirements to get more murals in town, and that will probably grow into art tours to incorporate the statues and the other art that we have in town. And then we'll also have some input into a potential food truck ordinance, not to limit food trucks, but to understand what the rules are so that we can all play fairly and bring more food trucks to town, festivals, organizations like that. So again, we meet every other Wednesday upstairs at Cambridge Market. We meet tomorrow if anyone would care to join us. We call it the Wednesday Wake Up. We meet every other Wednesday from 8 to 9 a.m. just to touch base with other business owners in town and keep the lines of communication going. We'll be talking mainly about Cambridge Christmas and the holiday season tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Are there any other individuals that would like to address the Board of Trustees? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on. Thank you very much. Approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right,
I will second.
motion and a second. Discussion, consideration?
Just wanted to comment, I guess, make sure everyone saw the economic development minutes. We've completed a ordinance for the room tax, which is going to be or has been forwarded to Jane for review. That'll be coming forward for official vote. And also the Economic Committee last meeting has decided that we need to develop a new ordinance or update an ordinance going forward for the murals and arts, so that we have some guidelines set up for that when the collaborative gets going on their art mural, that we have some guidelines and we know what the rules are as far as that. So I guess if any other board members has concerns about going forward with that, kind of let me know and we can take that into account at our next meeting.
Okay, all right. Any other?
Sorry, would the mural ordinance be economic development, or would that be plan commission? Because doesn't plan commission set the colors for downtown?
I think we have those in the ordinance already, so this would be like an amendment
Yep.
to add.
But I'm wondering which is the appropriate committee that should be deciding that?
That's a good
You
question.
know, I have been thinking about it as an economic development, but I take your point,
Yeah.
that it could be plan commission.
I just want to make sure we do it right.
Yeah,
No, that's a very good point.
and it would be because of the colors specifically.
Right, because of the color specifically, because,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
we're supposed to have specific colors according to our ordinance downtown.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think plan commission is a better fit, even though it's not how we're thinking about it.
I know that the murals they're talking about, I've kind of raised the issue on the colors that we had a palette, and those are for the businesses that face Main Street.
Correct.
And the murals they're talking about are the back of the buildings or the sides. So
Correct.
it's not our facade here.
So you're saying it's outside the scope of what the plan commission
Yeah.
has already decided?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what our committee was
Yeah,
thinking
'cause they were
as
thinking
well,
of-
as to, help with economic development.
Amending it would be like the signs ordinance, signs, banners, so it would be under, they had thought it would be under that. But I mean, you've got a very good point about that, so.
Just ask.
Maybe we can circle
And
back
maybe-
around on
Yeah,
that one.
and maybe it can be a joint effort between economic development and plan commission.
I mean,
just to make sure we're,
Each of them would play a part.
Absolutely.
If this
Yeah.
is true, that the colors are within the scope of what
Yeah.
plan commission
we
has
just
said.
have to look at that.
I mean,
We have to probably put this on
Development
a
can take the first pass
future
at it
agenda
and
item,
then-
because
Yeah,
this
like
isn't
that.
really on there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be
Yep,
late.
I think
discussing
that's
it.
good.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it carries unanimously. Moving on, reports, President's report. Just want to let you know, I found out that the crematorium is not going to be built here in Cambridge.
Oh, boo.
Okay.
What's the reasoning?
I think there's business opportunities elsewhere. They're looking at a location in Illinois. And the seller is in active negotiations with another business owner that would like to purchase that. And I can't tell you who that is right now. It's still too early. So we will not be seeing a crematorium. No, that has been approved.
Okay.
Okay, other reports, Plan Commission. I think I'm gonna
I can cover that.
All right.
We met last night, we talked about the rezone request on Drone Trail, that's on the agenda, so we'll cover that.
Good, good. Okay, moving on, Library Board report, Paula?
Samantha, do you want to come up and address the one? There's two items from the library perspective. If you want to address the.
Hi. So for those who don't know me, I'm Samantha Seaman. I'm the director at the library here in Cambridge. So we, myself and the library board, have been diligently trying to get the library in compliance as best as we can with all facets. So we've addressed policies, we've redone our trustee bylaws, and we've been working really hard to make sure that the library is doing everything that it should be doing. So in that respect, we also consulted with South Central Library System, which is our library system, on our board makeup. And they took a look at what we currently have, who's on our board, where they live, and all different aspects of the board makeup. And they have determined that we need 2 more members on our library board that need to be appointed by the village. So we currently have 5 members. 2 of them, though, represent Jefferson County, and that's Jefferson County's responsibility to appoint and approve those 2 members, according to what we have been told through South Central Library System. So we technically have 2 open seats to meet that minimum requirement of 5 members to our village board. And I can explain that a little further. According to state statute 43.60, section 3, 3A, it says that the county, basically it says that the county is, or the municipality is responsible for appointing or approving a minimum of 5 members and up to 7. Which we had 5 at that time, but because at section 3A5, it says that if the annual sum appropriated by the county, meaning Jefferson County, is equal to at least the annual sum appropriated by the municipality, then Jefferson County essentially has the ability to add between 1 and 5 additional members to our board. So we have 2 from Jefferson County, which like I said, South Central feels is sufficient to cover Jefferson County, but that leaves those 2 vacant spots to meet that minimum of 5 for the board that you guys essentially appoint. So we wanted to let you know that we will be posting an interest, a resume, essentially an application for it in the next couple of weeks here. Hopefully we'll do some interviews, and then we'll present to you our suggestions for who to add to the library board once we have some applicants.
So nothing we need to do tonight, it's just an information on what's going to be coming up and the why we're adding 2 additional people to the board. These 2 people will have to reside within the village of Cambridge.
Correct.
So we will have to make sure that whoever we select meets that criteria,
Correct.
all right?
When you
Reside in Dane County.
Yeah, Dane County.
So one member has to
No.
reside in the village and one can reside in Dane County.
Okay. So,
The one that resides in the village, do they have to live on the Dane County side, or do they live on the Jefferson County, that little sliver?
So as long as they're considered they're considered the village of Cambridge, then that counts as that vacant spot. And then the second vacant spot is kind of open to, she said, they can live in the village of Cambridge or a neighboring community,
As long as it's Dane County.
as long as it's Dane County.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I had under library board is we're working with Tammy on an item related to reserves for the library, and there seems to be a discrepancy, so looking forward to getting the audit so we can see what the audit has to say about it. All right.
Would you like me to do a very brief library update too, or
Yeah.
while I'm here?
Go ahead.
Sure. So the library has got a lot of things going on for the end of the year here. We've worked really hard on expanding our program offerings, and well, I mean, obviously our hours have expanded since March, so we're open weekdays Monday through Thursday from 10 until 7 o'clock. And then we expanded our hours on Saturday, which are now 9 to 2. We've got several adult programs coming up in the next couple weeks. Tomorrow, we're actually having a suicide prevention conversation here in this room. We've got a book club interest meeting happening at the end of the month to potentially put together some new book clubs for the community. We have some regular clubs that are being established, a writing workshop, as well as Socratic Circle, which is a philosophy-based group. They focus on one question per month and kind of talk it out together. Well, yeah, just essentially all together. And then that also, we've got a bunch of children's things going on this week. Specifically, we're celebrating National Video Game Day on Thursday. So in this room, we're going to have, after school, we'll have a bunch of different kinds of video games and games available for the kids to enjoy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Yep.
With the
Thank you.
extended hours, are you seeing the usage of the library go up then?
I think now that people are more aware that the hours
Yeah,
have expanded, we have seen some traffic, especially now that school is back in session. We're seeing, people kind of come in 5, 6 o'clock
But it's
time.
additional traffic. It isn't just
Additional traffic, it's hard to say right now because it is still early enough that we haven't gotten the full word out yet.
Sure.
But it's pretty promising. Our foot traffic in general has been pretty good throughout the summer, and our circulation is actually up from last year at this time. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you, Samantha.
And it can't be just all the books I'm reading, so.
No. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Samantha.
All right, moving on, Director of Public Works, Mr. Todd Lord.
You skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped right over it.
Come on.
Yeah, Bill,
Simple.
Yeah,
yeah,
so we met right before our meeting tonight. Normal business, police report, court report all look good. The Dane County Sheriff Office presented their budget proposal for next year. Came out pretty favorable, pretty good, I think. This year's budget was $278,000 for police. It's going up to $286,000, so about a 3% increase, all of which was driven by higher health insurance costs, as well as dental costs. They're assuming no wage increase next year. I think it's fairly realistic at this point, but they're still negotiating the contract, so that could have a small impact. And our court costs supposed to rise from $20,620 to $20,725. So pretty minimal increase there. So I thought that was good news.
That is good news.
Kristen, do you have anything? You were in the meeting.
Just that we voted to move the budget to the municipalities
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
approval.
Okay. All right. Okay, any questions? Moving on. Now you can come up. Todd. Good evening.
Long time no see.
Good morning.
Todd Lord, Public Works, Cambridge. We're doing a little bit of landscaping at well 3 because we found a pond there. I have to say
me,
thanks to
Found a pond?
yeah. There's just a little pond spot where the ditch line laid. You know, the water came down and kind of sat there for a little bit. So we want to make sure that it doesn't sit there. So, and they're working. Derek's working with the computer stuff there. I mean, he's been day in and day out with that stuff. So we're trying to get it. He's trying to get it up and running. And I know the DNR has already okayed it, but I think you're going to talk about this later, aren't you? Okay. But those guys have been covering for me because I've had some family issues. And I'd like to tell them thank you very much for what they've done, and thank you, Derek, for covering for the well 3. He's been at that thing nonstop. He's on the phone for hours and hours at a time, dealing with computer stuff and all that other stuff. And we're getting ready to prepare for fall. It's that time of year. And of course, we ordered that stuff a long time. We know the November thing.
Good, good, thank you.
And but overall, we're working on. I'm working on Whistler and stuff like that right now. It's not for the thing. It's just the normal Whistler and adding road. We're adding the road to it and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions for Todd? Anybody? All right. Well, just keep at it. Thank you for the update.
And thank you. Thank everybody for all the good work they're doing on, like, picking up branches and all of that kind of stuff. That's a really, I think, a really great thing that the village does. And it's all you guys staying on top of it, so thank you.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because it did remind me of something. Can you have guys go down Water Street? There's branches on Water Street right across from the elementary
I
school.
already took care of that this morning.
You read my mind.
Chipper guy today. I took care of that.
So
I talked at 102, I can't remember, one of the houses sitting on the corner there.
Yeah.
I was talking to that guy and he asked me if I could pick those up. I said, sure.
Yeah, you guys
Good.
pull in the Waverly end, so I can see where you wouldn't see them. But if you got it,
Perfect.
And we made all kinds of noise.
Nice.
all right. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to village office updates.
Hello.
Gonna be you, Tammy.
I didn't get Lisa's version, so this is just my short version.
That's all right.
We've been doing the election reconciliation for the August election and the regionalization with Rockdale. Had to do some last-minute audit items, but I just received the draft of it this afternoon, so I'll be sending that all to you tomorrow. Been diligently working on the budget. I went through and what we worked on last year, I am like checking, making sure all of the numbers, now that the audit is done, that they're all up to date on the budget so that they're reflected correctly. I attended a virtual webinar for grants. We had Workhorse come into the office this week, give us a demonstration on the new payroll portal that they offer. And we've been busy taking applications for the vacant board and committee seats, and as always, many ongoing projects.
Good. All right. Questions for Tammy? All right. Thank you. We're going to move to item 10 on our agenda, Treasurer's Report and bills. Let's take bills first.
Okay. On the bills that were sent around, there are 3 bills that were over $5,000. One was to LRS for $8,927.25. One was to Mid-City Corporation for $385,895.70. And that one will be reimbursed through the state for our safe drinking water loan. We pay it, and they reimburse it. And then Safe Built was $11,518.61. So the first run of the bills was $403,317.01. The second run, $12,248.05. For a total of $415,565.06.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $415,565.06.
I will second.
All right, discussion? Questions here regarding the bills? You answered the one that I had, which was on the well, so that's all I have. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Brunig,
Yes.
McNally,
Yes.
Blackwood,
Yes.
Christ,
Yes.
Krecklau.
Yes.
Okay.
Still on?
Yeah.
Oh, Chuck. Yep,
Still
Chuck.
on?
Oh, Chuck Franklin.
Check.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and then if you can give us an update here as treasurer.
You should have in your packets budget versus actual. And that's what I put in there this time. I didn't pick out anything specific just because I've been working, like I said, updating all of the numbers, making sure that they're correct on my spreadsheet. They should be correct in Workhorse now. Just so that you have a report of where we're at, and we're going to be getting into more of the budget, more of a deep dive coming up very soon. So just wanted to provide that copy for you.
Okay. Any questions, anybody? In building permits, page 1, the actual that we have for the year here, well, for August 31st is what, 92,000? We're at 39,005?
The building permits, I mean, number one is just a guess, and number two, those dollars generally are kind of like just a pass-through to the building inspector.
Right, we get like 15%.
Right, we get 15%. Most of those dollars go right to the building inspector. So, you know, so we just make a guesstimate.
Okay, so we don't have any housing starts then, I guess.
Well, you budgeted 39,500 and you're well over that. That's
Okay.
income.
All right.
You're on the income page if you're on page 1.
Yeah. Am I not in? Yeah.
And so then you're on the expense side, you'll see what we paid to him and whatever is left over is ours.
And
Okay.
so the expenses are gonna look higher as well, but again, that's just a pass-through because we're
Correct.
collecting more, so it's okay that that one's gonna be higher on the other end.
The budget was reduced because the thought was there would be a lot less building starts because most of them had started already, so it's kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Right, and the building inspector, it's not just for like new homes and things like that. It could be somebody wanted to put on a deck on the front of their home, or they're putting up a pergola somewhere, things like that. So it could be for lots, yes.
Stuff like that too.
And it's hard for us to guesstimate at budget time
Yeah.
how many people
Right.
might be doing any kind of
Right.
construction.
It could be a new roof, it could be a remodeling of a basement,
Yeah.
all sorts of different things.
Okay. Alrighty, any questions on the information that's been provided here by Tammy? All right, Tammy, well, we do appreciate you including it in the packet.
Yep.
All right, so keep doing that, and we'll get another one. And then as far as the audit, that looks like you'll be,
Yep, I'll have a copy emailed to you each tomorrow.
okay, all right. Can hardly wait to see what your comments are, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, he really likes,
Bill.
he likes going into these things.
Oh, he's meticulous about it, and that's okay.
It's like we probably have 2 of them now,
Yes.
Yes. All right,
all on that end of
All
the
on
table.
that.
Getting a lump sum over there.
okay,
Nothing wrong with quality, is there?
yeah,
Double check.
all right. Moving on, item 11A, rezone request for a parcel, whatever, 111-0612-013-0533-1, MRKR Properties. Going to leave this one to you, Chuck.
Okay, is Mike Brunk here to explain the project?
He's not here.
Okay, he's not here, so we had the public hearing last night. There were a good amount of people from the residents here. The overall viewpoints from the public where they were not in favor of the rezone request, and some of the highlights were that it would have a substantial adverse effect upon the adjacent properties, adverse effect upon the character of the area, and it would cause severe traffic congestion on Drumlin Trail and Kenseth Way. So with the commission, we voted not in favor, and it was unanimous to deny it. Some of the wave stops that we hit were that it's not compatible with their smart growth plan that we just amended. Dean Hollenbeck brought up a great point with the traffic congestion. I don't know if you guys remember when we approved that Vineyards apartment, we restricted them to 1 apartment until we get another egress point out of the Vineyards, whether that's 12 and 18 or Vineyards to 134. So the reason that's important is if we were to approve this, we'd be blatantly contradicting that plan. So overall, not in favor from the public and the plan commission. I'll leave it up to you guys for discussion, and then I'll make a motion.
Okay.
So I do have handouts from last night if you want it, if you want to discuss it, if you still want to hash it out, or you can go with what the plan commission recommended.
Is everyone clear on what it is? I believe it's a 20-unit apartment complex on the corner of Drumlin Trail and Kenseth Way, and that lot is, right now it's low-density neighborhood. We spoke about that specifically when we were developing the comprehensive growth plan with our professional MSA planners, and we decided that needs to stay low-density neighborhood residential, and that's more to keep the character of Drumlin Trail, and that could potentially be more homes or possibly duplexes in the future to support more of a tiered approach into higher density as we move west and north into the vineyards. So that was the well thought out plan we had with the plan commission, and that's where it stands. And I think we need to stick to that plan that we've already previously done.
Chuck, Lisa and I were talking about this beforehand. She just wanted to, see what kind of parameters we wanted to stay within, or we would need to stay in, versus what was a policy decision. And we were just kind of doing a back of the envelope calculation about what would constitute low density that was consistent with our comprehensive land use plan. And we think that based on the acreage, it would need to be down to something like 16 units for that many acres. I don't know if that was a part of your discussion last night, but that's what we think would have been compliant.
Yeah, that did get brought up, but it is a 20 unit, and the intent of the growth plan was for things more like duplexes. I know it doesn't specifically state that, but those are the discussions that were had.
Yeah. I was at the meeting last evening, and I voted against it. And I voted against it because we have just approved the project, and there'll be one more going in. But if they wanted to do anything with the other 2 parcels, we've got to figure out some point of access to Highway 12, because there's just way too much traffic coming up on Kenseth Way. And the other issue that was raised was safety. It's just, there's a heavy concentration. So I voted against this, and I think that vote was unanimous, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Chuck?
Yeah, you stated that.
Yeah, it was unanimous.
Yeah. So we're bringing it back to you. Any further questions? Chuck, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah,
So, hold on.
I'll make
Do
a
we-
motion to
Hold on.
deny.
Wait.
Hold on. Do we have to make a motion? Because we're not going to change the zoning.
Oh, okay, never mind, then we just leave it.
So we just take no action on it.
No action, even better.
All right,
Okay.
good. All right, so nothing is required of the Board of Trustees.
Because we're not rezoning.
All right, okay. Thank you, Chuck. Let's move on to item 11B, a street use permit for the Badger Challenge, September 22nd. I saw this in here. Anybody want to?
I will make a motion to approve the street use permit application for the Badger, oh, I had it and lost it, Badger Challenge, sorry, for the date specified,
I'll second that motion.
September 22nd.
September 22nd.
Yep. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, that gets us now to item 11C, the Plan Commission vacancy.
Make a motion to.
And we have,
I want to make a motion to I want to say table, but I know that's not the correct terminology, and Paula's going to correct me on it.
Postpone it?
Postpone,
a table would be, you
I
take
think-
it up later in the meeting.
yeah, I'm going to postpone this till the next meeting, the Plan Commission vacancy.
I will second.
All right. We want to do this. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. We do appreciate Jenny's interest. We're just asking to go to the next meeting.
For the Plan Commission one.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here for D.
Who
Yeah.
seconded that?
Okay, that's now getting back to item 11D, the Historic Preservation Committee, the architect vacancy. And Jenny, you want to come up here just real quickly? Give us your bio, quick.
Yeah. I'm Jenny Landowski. I live on 620 Wheatland. I paid one of those fees you were just talking about this year. Just moved in March and built a new home. I used to live in Fort Atkinson. I've been an architect for almost 30 years. I helped my husband put my mother-in-law's house on the historic register in 2008, I think. I was on the Historic Preservation Commission in Fort Atkinson for 5 years. I have an interest in historic preservation. I didn't get certified in it or anything, but Lisa just recommended that there's an opening and I'm an architect and I could fill it, so
Yay.
happy to do so.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody care to make a motion? Oh, well, first of all, any questions? Jenny?
What do you enjoy about it?
About historic preservation. I think that a sense of place is both history and future. And I think that bringing a town like Cambridge into the future also involves understanding its past. And things like I understand the water towers project coming up. I just think it's telling a story and it's important to remember who we are.
What do you have to say about Frank Lloyd Wright? Just curious.
Jeez.
Nope, okay. Rabbit hole. Rabbit hole.
I think the guy was a genius, but I also think he was working with some rough materials. So,
All
He
right.
was not a technically astute person.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
okay, anybody want to make a motion here?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jenny Landowski to the Historic Preservation Committee in the architect role.
I will second.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay.
Okay.
Wait.
So
Yay.
that
Thank
gets
you,
it.
Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Architect instead of attorney.
All right, moving now on to item 12A. Status of building inspector. And I thought there was something in
We had a
there.
letter in our packet. Do you want
Yeah.
me to just recap it, Mark?
Recap it, please.
So we were going to be working with a couple other communities to figure out, to find a building inspector to work with both Village Deerfield and Marshall. The person in Deerfield was taking the lead on that. He has now left Deerfield. So now the person that's in Marshall is sort of taking the lead, and he's also talking with Waterloo, maybe getting involved in this as well. So then we'd have 4 communities involved with this building inspector. But right now we're continuing to work with Safe Built, and they're hoping that they're going to have somebody in our office for our residents to streamline it a little bit starting next week. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to work with Deerfield, Marshall, possibly Waterloo, to see what we can get. The consolidation of the 4 communities may be eligible for some grants, so they're looking into that piece. Otherwise, we'll just do an RFP. I don't know.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
so that's where we're at.
And again, it's included in your packet here. Okay. All righty, thank you. I don't think there's anything further on that. Okay, moving on to item 12B, Koshkanon Creek. And I thought there was something in here on that as well.
I can
Yeah.
start with that because maybe you will all recall that we had been in discussions with the Drainage Board, asking them to help us remove the trees. I think I've been here since that time to say that it's not going to happen willingly. But there have been some discussions about just sort of the ability or how we would go about removing the trees. Because I remember that Todd had shared some concern that we don't have the machinery, or that the heavy machinery wouldn't work to remove the trees because of the utility lines that are under the location of where the trees are. But I've also heard that, I mean, the same machinery that whatever the Drainage Board used, the Drainage District used to stack those logs in the first place, I mean, the ground must have been able to sustain them. So there's sort of a technical aspect of this that I think we maybe should go to a committee, maybe the Water and Sewer Committee, because of the lines under there, to just like come up with a plan for how the logs should be removed, or whether.
Or let nature take its toll.
Or let nature take its toll. But it seems like a technical issue that I'm not well equipped to to weigh in on whether the ground can support the heavy machinery or not. So maybe somebody with some expertise on the committee could weigh in or make a recommendation.
Let's just put them all in the creek and float them downriver. No? Not an option? Damn.
Yeah, I don't think
All right.
that's going to work.
All right.
Um,
So do we want to refer that to Water and Sewer then? You guys can look into it. I mean, at some point, it may be that,
It's we guys. We're both on water and sewer.
yeah, okay, we guys, it may be that it's just easier to leave it.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I can.
That's probably where we're going to come to, so, okay.
Okay.
And, because you know what?
Todd, you
the
brought up
gra-
a good point about what's underneath there and the heavy equipment that would take, so.
And the greenery is going to grow up over it. It already did by the end of the summer, so next year, it's just going to be even more, so we'll see even less of it. So it won't be as much of an eyesore next year as it was this year.
I think even though we don't know what can happen with what's underneath, I think taking that chance of
Could you
Are
running
you
that
kidding? If the
equipment-
Village of Cambridge does it, it's going to be awful.
Did you want this
happens to
on the
us.
agenda?
Yeah, I did. I just,
Why is it?
because I talk to people, and we've got what looks like a bunch of dead dinosaurs all the way downtown. They don't notice it further away, but you're coming down. And I know that we pushed it up, and I can appreciate what you had to do, Todd, but we had equipment that was on the ground to get it up to the top, and we didn't tear anything up doing that. Now, we've been holding off for the drainage district to get some sort of a conclusion, and they're not going to help us. But we've got a mess, and I just don't like seeing all these trees in our downtown, that are just jammed up against the side, and it's gonna take 50 years for that stuff to break down.
Yeah, but the greenery is going to grow over it in 2 years, and we aren't even going to see it. It's already started this year.
It's already covered.
Right, most of it's already
See a
covered.
little bit of it. You still see
Right.
a little bit of the top of that huge one that's laying down.
Yeah.
The phlox will reseed itself as the wind blows.
But the
and-
greenery's only there for 6 months a
Right.
year, right?
And then snow,
And the flowers were amazing.
Yeah, they were.
yeah. I just,
I
I mean,
think
and
if you have to make a decision on what the people are talking to you about that you are soliciting, the question that I would ask is, would you want to be assessed to get this removed? Because that's how we would have to go about doing it.
correct.
Well,
And I'm sure the answer would be no.
no, I don't think the average resident here in Cambridge is gonna wanna see that they have to pay more money to get rid of the trees. But I know that there have been groups, and that have volunteered. Now, they could do this under the authority of our own public works.
No,
No
no,
liability.
liability reasons, we could not
Liability.
do that, Mark, for liability reasons.
Nope.
If anyone got injured, no,
I mean, even just a slip and a sprained ankle,
Right.
you know.
We went through this whole ordeal when we were talking about planting trees. And we had a group that volunteered, and that was, we were skeptical as a board going forward with that.
And
I
there's
can't
no
imagine
way-
the removal,
Yeah,
the
there-
cutting.
There isn't any way that we could get waivers?
We could get waivers, but we couldn't make them binding on the people who signed them. It is the, it's still a risk to the village to do that.
I mean, I think it's an eyesore, and I was with you when I thought we could get the water district to pay for it. But if the Village of Cambridge has to do it, or if we're asking our staff to do it, our staff can barely stay on top of what they're doing now. That I just think this is something that I just think we let nature take its course.
The
And I
same
think if
thing is
you-
happening north of, of
Yeah.
18 along the creek up there too. And,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you walk that path now.
mhm, yeah,
At first, when you're out in Lagoon.
Yep.
And you walk that, and you can't even see the trees.
No.
Unless you're really looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I get it that we don't have oodles of cash.
We don't have any
any
cash.
Yeah, well, okay.
But if you put it to water and sewer, I mean, I can tell you as chair, we'll hear what the other members have to say, but my recommendation, I'm gonna be pretty transparent about it, is to allow the nature to take its course, and it's done a pretty good job so far. But we can hear what the other members have to say. Steve's on there, Ted's on there.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, it stops here, but I was down on the Camrock, and it seems like there's a lot of trees. Is Dane County gonna come in and take out the rest?
That lady that
The-
was here for Dane County,
No.
I had mentioned that to her.
Carrie Marin?
The drainage district is its own entity. It can assess landowners for the work that it does. It is generally exempt from most permitting requirements. We were asserting a floodplain
Yeah, yeah.
ordinance here.
Right.
But when you're outside the village boundaries, they are largely exempt from wetlands, waterways,
Right.
floodplain.
I just wanna know if they're gonna clean up the rest of the Koshkonong Creek as you hit this bridge and you go south.
You would have to ask Dane County that, because Jefferson County stops at the bridge right there.
Yeah.
They stop at the bridge.
Yeah, this was the Jefferson County Drainage District that probably, their jurisdiction ends right there, yeah.
It would just seem like you have to clean up, because otherwise, yeah, you got a nice clean channel, but you hit the bridge, and then you've got trees that are both ways.
That's why I mentioned it to that lady that was here.
Carrie.
All right, that's way beyond. Okay, I brought it up, thank you for allowing me to talk about it, and I guess we're not gonna do anything, so. Let's see here, well house update. Yeah, it's in here. This water and sewer, any comments here, Chris? On this one, when we're, I wanted to know when we're gonna have a meeting and have the general public look at this, and we'll have pictures, and MSA will come in. I guess it's just to be scheduled.
Yeah, we need to work with staff to figure out when we're going to schedule that.
And
I think that's one of the to-dos on the list.
it is, but we want to wait until, I guess, the well is up and running. It's been
Oh,
running a
okay.
little while before we bring that all in.
It's not ready yet.
Okay, item 13, correspondence, there is none. 14, questions, referrals to staff, future agenda items. We've got Safe Communities update on the 24th. We've got an audit kind of report on the 24th.
You missed one, Fire Commission update.
Oh, what?
12D?
The,
you have
the
a-
big thing I want to put out for the
I'm
Fire
sorry.
Commission
Yeah.
update is that
Yes.
I'll be attending a competitive bargaining tomorrow with a representative from Lake Mills and the commission lawyer. That'll be in Madison. I believe it's at noon. So it's with the union members and our EMS.
Okay,
So
I'm glad you're attending.
all right.
Got a
Contract would be retroactive.
it would be yes, that contract that we negotiate will be retroactive to January 1st.
got a, I mean, we've already given them all the money we have to give them. If they go with the contract that I saw, there's no way we can afford that.
We'll be talking more about this, yeah, in closed session. Anything else, Chris? Okay, Safe Communities update, the 24th of September. 24th of September, we'll also be talking about the audit.
We'll be doing that virtually.
Yes.
I'm going to
hopefully, yeah.
set it up with the smart board
All right.
and
Got
the
it.
Teams.
Oh, so you got it working?
I'm having Computer Magic come out sometime this week or the beginning of next. I think it's just a Wi-Fi thing.
Yep.
Being the library, it needs to be our Wi-Fi to go with our network.
Sure.
So I think that's all it is.
Cool.
So,
Excellente.
Good. Dancing goat sampling plan on the 24th. We're going to be bringing around room tax ordinance once we get some legal on that. And then Dr. Banker will be coming in and giving us a presentation on the 22nd of October.
Who's Dr. Banker?
Margie Banker.
Superintendent.
Oh,
Superintendent.
Margie.
Yes,
Okay, sorry.
yes. Okay, upcoming meetings, September 11th is the library board, the 17th.
Back on 14, a couple
Sure.
other items I'd like to see on a future meeting, not necessarily next one, but we talked about bike funds several times, about the fact we overspent. And I think you were going to get some information from Lisa, correct? To go back to whomever you knew. that
I
said
had
they-
already provided
Oh,
Lisa
you
that
did that?
information, yeah, but I don't know if we've reached out or at all to,
Okay. Well, so we just need an update on where we're at,
Okay.
I guess, with that, I think.
Okay,
I mean, I think it was $20,000-$30,000, wasn't it, that we overspent?
I think so.
all right.
And then several meetings ago, we talked about Lisa's review, and nothing's been done for well over a year. I'd like to have some discussions when that's going to be done and how that works and what the input is from the other members of the committee.
Okay.
I think it's been well over a year, we said, which is not right.
It's a
Was our-
personnel issue then.
Yeah, I mean, that was a criticism of us to the
Well, that's
commission.
not actually a personnel item because Lisa reports to the full board, not to just the personnel committee.
All
So
right.
it would be
Well-
the full board.
Yeah, I think we had evaluations. Everybody did this for Lisa?
That's when Chris Weiss was on board, right?
Yeah.
I was told it's been
60.
a year and a half or more,
That's what I
think she
thought.
did,
Lisa
and
said
then-
it's been,
so, I mean, that's not appropriate.
We can talk about that.
All right. So we don't do it in personnel, but we will be bringing it back around to talk about here then. at a next-
Wherever it belongs, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she reports to this committee, so.
I think
Okay.
we probably should have a closed session on that.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else? Upcoming meetings?
Does our community, I mean, I haven't seen anything but for like 9/11 remembrance, anything like that. Do we do any sort of, no?
We'll put the flags at half-staff tomorrow, right?
Yep, 9/11.
Okay.
That's a good point that you brought up. We talked about it, but we should do something for Eric for his service on the board.
Yes.
And I know we were gonna either do a proclamation or get something for him. I know that was on Lisa's short list of things to do, but if you could just remind her. Hopefully it's really long and Mark has to read the whole thing.
Because we know how much Mark loves reading those
Very
those
technical too,
whereases.
right?
Whereas, Mark,
Whereas.
practice it, start practicing your whereases.
But I think it'd be nice to have Eric and his family in here as we present him something for his, I think he was on for what, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Well, he attended a lot of meetings before then,
Yeah.
but that's a good idea. I can agree with that. Okay, anything else? Upcoming meetings, the 11th is September 11th is Library Board, 17th Water and Sewer, 24th, again, that's Village Board. October 1st, Economic Development. October 8th, Village Board. October 9th, Library Board. October 14th, Plan Commission. 15th will be Water and Sewer, and October 22nd, Village Board.
And there was one that was missing, the joint meeting with Oakland tomorrow is September 11th. And there will be an upcoming Historic Preservation Committee meeting. I'm hoping to get it set up within the next week or 2.
Thank you. All right. Somebody help me out here on item 16.
I'll make a motion to convene into closed session per 19.851 Echo, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Sale of village land and fire and EMS commission, and 19.851 Gulf, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, fire and EMS commission.
Well, you emptied the room.
I know, right? Video it.